From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the news at 10, live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Amarachi Uban.
Good evening and welcome tonight. Aviation Minister denies claims that NCAA purchased armored vehicles for her protection and says she has not concealed any information. Former Commonwealth Secretary General Emeka Anyoko supports timing of national dialogue, asks political leaders to be more service-oriented. Senator asks Inspector General of Police to investigate rape of a toddler by a police officer. And universities in the UK embark on a strike action to protest pay cuts.
On business news, International Monetary Fund IMF says sub-Saharan Africa's economic growth to increase by 1% in 2014.
And on sports news tonight, Nigeria Football Federation rejects the decision of football club owners to dissolve the league management company.
I'm Linda Kibe from Abuja. Infrastructure Development Authorities in Bayelsa State demolishes Governor Siriake Dixon's house in Yenogwa. Plus, our big story on the challenge of the automobile production in Nigeria.
We begin tonight with the long-awaited appearance of the Minister of Aviation before the House Committee, investigating the purchase of 2 armored cars by the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority. The minister dismissed allegations that the 2 armored cars procured by the NCAA were purchased for her. The minister also said the procurement is captured in the 2013 budget as approved by the National Assembly and that she only gave conditional approval for the procurement. Our correspondent, Larry Lasisi, reports.
A group of protesters outside the National Assembly, they're here in support of the Minister of Aviation. Meanwhile, inside the complex, the minister arrived to face the House Committee investigating the controversial procurement of armored cars by the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority. It was the first chance to hear from the minister on her role in the procurement.
Another falsehood in publication and public domain relating to this lease financing agreement is that NCAA purchased 2 bulletproof vehicles again for Honorable Minister of Aviation. This is totally false. There was nothing in the approved document reflecting my name. When the budget was being made, at no time did I ever request for any vehicle from NCAA.
She also touched on the legality of the purchase.
NCAA is therefore conscious of its obligation relating in particular to appropriation and will never spend monies that have not been appropriated by the National Assembly. It is in this regard that NCAA, within the framework of medium-term expenditure framework approved by the National Assembly as a plan its budgets with regard to acquisition of operational and other security and safety vehicles for the next 3 years.
The lawmakers sought to know why she approved the purchase.
You did an approval in black and white here. Do the need. You said approved. Kindly do the needful. You have given approval. You have said they should go ahead. That's my interpretation of this in law. You have a you have what I want to establish that you have hit. You have exceeded your threshold. This should have gone to FEC.
The minutes on the document was very explicit. It said approve, but do the needful. A minister and every minister will approve implementation. A minister does not execute. So you cannot expect the minister, the intent of the memo is approved. But for the memo to be executed, it has to go through a process.
Tell us when minister approved and said do the needful. What did you do?
When we got the proposal of the Honorable Minister, the directive we should do the needful, We interpreted it to mean that we should go through due diligence within our system, and that was what the procurement departments went through.
After the NCAA official was questioned some more, the committee brought the hearing to an end. The committee says it will now consider its findings and come up with its report as soon as possible. Lanre Lasese, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Finance has denied granting a waiver to Charis Motors Nigeria Limited for the purchase of the armored vehicles. In a statement, the ministry said it had approved a waiver of destination inspection charges and duty exemptions for Charis Motors Nigeria Limited, the official automobile partner for the National Sports Festival, ECO 2012, to purchase 300 vehicles on Lagos State's behalf for the event. It states that the waiver granted to the Lagos State government for the event did not include the purchase of armored vehicles. We're staying with the lawmakers, but in other issues now, the Senate Committee on Petroleum Downstream has asked the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation to submit to it the names of people involved in and beneficiaries of crude oil swap in the country. The committee made this demand after the NNPC failed to appear before it today to explain the issue of crude oil swap in the country, distribution of petroleum products, and implementation of NNPC budgets in the year 2013. The chairman of the committee, Senator Magnus Abe, gave the corporation a maximum 2 weeks to collate necessary documents and appear before the committee.
Within 2 weeks, yes, we will assume that whatever documents they want to gather both in Nigeria and outside Nigeria should be ready within 2 weeks. And after 2 weeks, we'll fix a new date for this meeting. And then we hope that they will not only come here, but they will come prepared along with some other information on the running of the NNPC budget as it is, because very soon we are moving into another budget session and we have not received any briefing on how the last budget has been executed. Particularly, we would like to know exactly how many aircrafts the corporation is running and how many is on hire and how many belong to them, and how much is being spent on the hiring of aircraft. Please include that in the letter. Those are some of the details that they should also bring when they are coming next time.
In the meantime, the Minister of Works, Mr. Michael Nonamemen, has insisted that he never refused to appear before the Senate Ad Hoc Committee on the Subsidy Reinvestment and Empowerment Program. In a press statement signed by his media assistant, Tony Ipajersa, Mr. Nonamemen explained that he was a part of the President's visit to Israel as at the time of the Senate Committee sitting, and he rejected insinuations that he refused to honor the invitation of the Senate Ad Hoc Committee. The statement also added that the minister proceeded to Germany on another official assignment at the conclusion of the President's visit to Israel. The Senate yesterday threatened to use all legal means to compel the minister to appear before it. Now to the issue of national dialogue, the former Secretary General of the Commonwealth, Emeka Anyoko, has lent his voice to the discourse, as saying it could not have come at a more opportune time in the nation's political history. At an event in Lagos today, Mr. Anyoko also urged political leaders in the country to be more subservient in their approach to governance if there is to be any chance of political stability in the country.
The National Conference is a very timely and very deserving initiative by the President. Our country, with the number of challenges that it faces at the moment, is drifting towards what is likely to be a very chaotic situation in 2015. And I believe that this National Conference will provide an opportunity for the country to review where it's going, particularly in terms of the structure of governance, because it is quite clear that the present structure of governance we have in this country is not serving us very well. And I hope that the National Conference will come up with a carefully considered restructuring of the governance architecture in the country. My one advice to our political parties is that they should be rooted in public service. They should be rooted in service to the people, not just wanting to grab power.
Former Commonwealth Secretary General Mr. Emeka Anyoko on a national dialogue. Now the Senate has asked the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Muhammad Abubakar, to investigate the alleged rape of a 2-year-old girl by a police corporal. Considering a motion on cruelty to infants, the lawmakers condemned the act and asked its Committee on Public Police Affairs to investigate the matter.
The nation has been witnessing several acts of cruelty to babies, including kidnapping, sexual abuse, and sometimes sold as commodities. Worried by these trends, the Senate in plenary considered a motion on the rape of a 2-year-old girl allegedly by a police officer.
The Senate is invited to note the recent case of criminality in Mararaba area of Nasarawa State, meted against a 2-year-old baby girl by name Chiwendu Onwudiwe, by no other than one who is supposed to uphold the law.
Police officers in this country are not only in the habit of doing this thing, but they seems to be condoned by the constituted authority when they are law enforcers.
The motion raised questions on the status of bills and resolutions that could have protected victims of similar acts.
I think that we'll be failing if we do not pass a bill that deals and updates the laws concerning rape and all that. And by the way, Nigeria is becoming a favorite spot, for sexual tourism.
Since this incident took place, I think by now, it should have been making headline. The actions taken by the police should have been making headline. But so far, we haven't had anything. And I believe that this is one of the few cases that whatever resolutions we take here, we must make sure that we follow it, or the committees involved follow it up as quickly as possible.
This is one motion that has given the lawmakers an opportunity to correct any impressions Nigerians may have had about them after the child marriage drama during the constitutional amendment. Hopefully, this motion will achieve that purpose.
In other news, a peaceful protest by the Academic Staff Union of Universities has been disrupted, or was disrupted today by the Kano State Police Command. Armed policemen blocked the university's gates, forcing the lecturers back into the institution's premises. Leader of ASU in the university, Dr. Mahmoud Lawan, says although denied the opportunity to express their grievances, the strike will continue as the federal government is not ready to listen. The lecturers added that they will continue to condemn and resist those who pay lip service to education, then destroy education, and whose lack of honor continues to be the cause of this and previous shutdowns of the university system in the country. In part 2 after the break, we'll be joined by Linda Akigwe from our Abuja studios, plus electricity workers and the federal government negotiate handover of PHCN facilities to private owners. That's in a moment. Please stay with us.
If you're not on the MTN network, then you don't have the MTN Next App Store. That means you don't have access to the largest selection of local and international mobile apps on the continent. Apps that are so easy to download and install on your phone. Apps that enable you to easily locate places like the nearest bank, fueling stations, eateries, and lots more. Apps that help you prepare for that all-important exam, search for jobs, and do lots more. Visit nextapps.mtnonline.com to get started.
MTN, everywhere you go.
3, 11, 13.